Hey, buddy. What's the matter? Why are you so upset right now? What's going on? Want to talk about it? Oh, hey. Sorry, I wanted to watch Dragon Ball Z again and everything, but all they own are the incredibly expensive Dragon Boxes. Well, wait just a minute here. Aren't the Dragon Boxes considered to be the best version of Dragon Ball Z to own at home? Yeah? Why you ask? Well, because, man, you should consider yourself lucky. You own the best way to watch Dragon Ball Z at home. The most expensive, but yet the best way to watch it. The Dragon Boxes. So, why are you crying? What is the problem? Because, man, you already said why. It's the most expensive version of the show to own. I don't want to risk the discs getting destroyed or to wear it over time or anything. I'm not sure what to do here. Oh, alright. Okay, I gotcha. I completely understand now what's going on. I get it. I'm sorry, man. That is a real bummer. So, what do I do? How am I going to be able to watch one of my favorite TV shows of all time again? Well, I mean, hey, you can always read the manga. I'm kidding. Well, kind of. We'll touch more on that later. In all seriousness, I do have a solution to your problem. There is? You're kidding! Yeah, actually, I do. And it's right here in the palm of my hands. Wait. What is that? This, my friend, is a somewhat definitive way of watching all of Dragon Ball Z on DVD. It's in good old 4x3 with its original film grain intact, and it even has the original 2-number US broadcast audio and a lot more. And more? Oh yes, sir. And that's what we're going to cover in today's video. You know, I really do love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Dragon Ball as a whole. Whether it be the original manga, anime, the movies, or even GT, I love it all. I even have a big soft spot for Kai and Super. Yup, Dragon Ball sure is great. However, even though Dragon Ball is a great series, I can't help but feel that what Funimation and Toei Animation have been producing post the canceled Blu-ray level sets have not been great. Even before the Dragon Boxes, they were not perfect. Especially the orange bricks, and trust me, we're going to touch on those later on. Again, I am incredibly lucky to own those, the Dragon Boxes, but not even these are near to a perfect release.
What? What the fuck?
Yup, that's right. Not even the holy grail of Dragon Ball home releases are perfect. And if that's not a big enough shock for you, even if Funimation actually went ahead and did finish the Blu-ray level sets, believe it or not even those would have been a perfect release for Dragon Ball Z. Yeah, I know, it's nuts. How and why? Well, for one, all three of these series, Dragon Ball, Z, and GT, are missing their episode previews attached to them, and for two, they're also missing their original opening and closing credits. The Dragon Boxes do have the opening and closing credits, which is a good thing, and they also have the episode previews, so there you go, problem solved, right? Wrong. There's only Japanese audio, which isn't that big of an issue, but the real kicker is that it is mono quality only.
Snake, you're not using a stereo TV?
It can't be. A mono TV? Well, Colonel, there's nothing we can do about it.
I guess you're right. Snake, don't worry about it. There's more to being a good person than just having a stereo television. You can do it just the way you are.
Mono TV.
I know, it's a real shame. If you want to watch Dragon Ball Z or GT in Japanese, you'd have to deal with mono quality audio, which,
あいつは天津飯の恨み。そしてこれはこの恨みだ。
Yeah, it's not the best. Now, the North American release of the Dragon Boxes do also have the quote-unquote remastered Funimation English dub on them as well. And yes, it is recorded in stereo quality audio. However, it's not the same as the original US broadcast Toonami dub, and there's no Bruce Faulconer theme score music attached to the Dragon Box Z volume sets as well. Aww. And these are just a handful of reasons on how the Dragon Boxes are not quote-unquote perfect. Okay, now, some of you at home watching this may be thinking, Danny, what is the point of all this? Why are you pointing out the flaws with the Dragon Boxes? I personally do not care or could care less about the Dragon Boxes. I am perfectly happy with my 16:9 aspect ratio version of Dragon Ball Z. Yes, the version where they removed the grain, zoomed into the picture, and saturated the colors. Bro, are you honestly happy with this when Dragon Ball Z could and should look like this? Now look, average Orange Brick set or Blu-ray release enjoyer, here's the deal. You, my friend, are no idiot. You're not a moron, and this video is not about talking down to someone like you or anything like that. No, sir, That's not at all what I'm trying to do here or even my intention. Enjoy whatever you want to, however you want to, when it comes to any piece of media. This video is to help educate everyone, including you, that there are better ways to experience all of Dragon Ball for free, mind you, well, kind of, right here on the internet. Now look, I'm clearly not the first person to talk about this topic, let alone make a giant video about it. And I'm sure I won't be the last person either. It's also incredibly possible that a good amount of people stumbling across and watching this video had no idea that the Dragon Boxes even existed, or that Funimation, Toei Animation, and now Crunchyroll have been lying to all of us about their home releases. For any fellow Dragon Box Z owners and enjoyers out there, I don't want my previous flaw picking to discourage you personally from owning the Dragon Boxes. Even with those flaws in mind, they're still the legitimate best way to purchase and own Dragon Ball Z physically at home that was produced by Funimation and Toei Animation. Even great art has its flaws, and that's okay. Now, fair warning before I continue on with this video or tackle any more issues. All of you out there should buckle up and get comfy, because I will do my absolute humanly possible best to make sure and ensure that no stone is left unturned while talking about Dragon Ball home release media problems. It's quite a deep dive rabbit hole, folks, so I hope that you're all ready for this.
And here we go.
Whew. Okay. For starters, why is it that the official DVD box set releases of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT do not have their episode previews intact in the first place, alongside the original opening and closing credits? Also, did you know that there's a whole second opening and closing animation bit for Dragon Ball alone? Actually, the original Dragon Ball anime has at least up to 3 different closing animations, which again are not included on the Blue Brick season sets. At the time, when I first watched the show, I had no knowledge of this information during my first viewing at all. Funimation did not include these with any of their official releases, and yes, the Blue Brick season sets is the first way I watched the original Dragon Ball. And I have to wonder, why the heck are these not included? At least the image quality is still somewhat good for the most part when it comes to the North American releases of both Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT. That's a part of why I still own these. But even so, that does not change the fact that we are being lied to. How, some of you may wonder out there? Well, just look at the marketing.
For the first time ever, all 291 episodes of Dragon Ball Z will be presented consistently from beginning to end, including the uncut footage, newly remastered in high definition from the original Japanese film masters and presented on DVD in widescreen format, with new digitally restored clarity and accompanied by a newly revised English audio track in stunning 5.1 surround. The entire Dragon Ball Z series digitally restored, all 291 television episodes, included on new collectible DVD sets, new video, new audio, a completely new experience. The definitive Dragon Ball Z collection.
That, unfortunately, isn't even the worst of it.
This time on Dragon Ball Z, our heroes are celebrating.
Great practical joke, Jim. Got me go to the annex. No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
People of Earth, gather your energy and get ready to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Dragon Ball Z in the best way possible with an exclusive collector's edition. We've designed a striking set worthy of this legendary series, and with your help, we can make it happen.
Bullshit marketing ploy after bullshit marketing ploy after bullshit marketing ploy. And I didn't even really touch on the original season Blu-ray sets that were, again, zoomed in the widescreen. Jeez Louise, when will it ever end? And before the Dragon Boxes were released, the problems that the Funimation home release media were having was solely on Funimation, but ever since Dragon Ball Z Kai came out, Toei Animation thought it'd be a good idea to show the series in zoomed in 16:9 post the Buu saga, and now they're just as responsible as Funimation is for these botched releases. There's a very good reason why I only legally own one completed box set home release version of Dragon Ball Z and GT. Well, I also have the VHS tapes for Dragon Ball Z, but those were a gift. Every other home release of Dragon Ball Z that we have ever had outside of the Dragon Boxes have been botched in some sort of mess up way, and the parent companies could care less about it. And why is that? Why don't Toei Animation and Funimation do something? Everyone's making videos about this topic, we're all talking about it, we're all pointing fingers at them saying, hey, fix this, so what's going on? Why, may you wonder? Why aren't they doing anything? It's our faults. It's because of us. The consumers, the fans, we keep on buying this garbage. However, there's a very good reason why, as I have shown earlier, and I will say it again, we keep getting lied to. And Funimation is really good at this. So with that being said, I'm not saying that I 100% blame all of you. Everyone out there who does own a messed up version of Dragon Ball home releases, because that's not really fair to do to you guys. You didn't know any better. Hell, I didn't know any better. We are sort of stuck with what we have. But for the future, we can absolutely vote with our wallets. For legal reasons, obviously, I do have to advise and inform everyone out there watching this video to quote-unquote, please support the official release of the show. But how in good faith can I do that when knowing that whenever we do, we are showing Toei Animation, Funimation, Viz Media, Crunchyroll, Bandai Namco, and whoever else owns the property that we don't want good, competent releases? It's like we want more garbage. That's what they think. So go out and buy an inferior product with false marketing attached to it. This is what I'm saying to you guys. I'm not saying you guys are stupid. I'm trying to educate you this very important information. It might seem stupid to some of you viewers. A lot of you out there may not even care about these problems, but a lot of passion fans like myself do care, and there's no reason why we shouldn't have better than what we have been given, and there's no reason why these companies should be botching the footage. It's absolutely bonkers, and it's absolutely somewhat unforgivable to do this to one of the most iconic cartoons of all time. Now, even though that I pointed out those flaws earlier about the Dragon Boxes in this video, I just personally want to make one thing very clear about what I said. I do not personally fully 100% blame Toei Animation or Pony and Canyon for producing what they did at the time for the original TV run of the Dragon Ball show and the Dragon Ball films. Yes, I'm talking about all 4 of the original Dragon Box releases. I personally do not fully blame them for producing what they did at that time. For those of you who don't know, Pony Canyon is the company that Toei Animation outsourced to help create the Dragon Boxes sometime in the early 2000s or late 90s. In Japan, they got the whole original television series, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT alongside the movies on limited run DVD release box sets. I may be wrong about this, and I probably am, but I feel as though that it's quite possible that both Toei Animation and Pony Canyon were limited with the technology they had at the time to try and produce what they could. And that's a part of why I don't fully blame them for how the Dragon Boxes turned out. And as for the mono quality, why is it that the show doesn't sound like this instead?
いい加減にしろ、このクズ野郎。罪もねえものを次から次へと殺しやがって。ごめっくりに待て。 様にこんな力が。まさか貴様。当たりさえすれば貴様なんか。
当ててみろよ。
何を。ふざけやがって。
星は壊せてもたった一人の人間は壊せねえようだな。
何者だ。
とっくにご存知なんだろう。俺は地球から貴様を倒すためにやってきたサイヤ人。穏やかな心を持ちながら激しい怒りによって目覚めた伝説の戦士。
For the longest time, I legit believed that Dragon Ball Z, or the TV series as a whole, was actually aired in Japan with the mono quality audio. Yes, on television. I legit had no idea that the show actually sounded like this when it originally aired on Fuji TV back in the mid-80s to late 90s. So, what gives? Why in the world does the original TV series of all of Dragon Ball have mono quality attached to it? Well, that's because Toei Animation released the series on DVD with optical sound attached to the footage. The original stereo-like quality tapes that were recorded for broadcast audio were tossed out from Toei Animation's warehouse. Why in Kami's name would Toei Animation do such a disgraceful thing? Well, the short answer is that they were running out of space in their warehouses, which I honestly understand that and do believe it. The long answer kind of is, well, Dragon Ball to Z to GT is over 500 episodes long, ladies and gentlemen. 500 episodes. Yikes. That's a lot of tapes to keep in one warehouse on top of other long-running franchises they had to consider to make space for at the time. Hell, Dragon Ball isn't even the only victim to this decision. The same thing happened with Sailor Moon, sadly. Yes, the Sailor Moon Blu-rays have mono-quality audio only in Japanese. Not only that, they were probably being tossed out roughly while the show was still being produced, meaning that they weren't really forward thinking about the Dragon boxes at the time. That makes sense to me. It was the late 80s and mid-90s after all. However, not all hope is lost here. Some other network stations in Japan do still have the broadcast audio of Dragon Ball Z at least, so Toei Animation did forward think their choice of tossing out their own tapes in a way. Not only that, a few fans in Japan have archived all of Dragon Ball, DBZ, and GT while it was airing on TV at the time, which means, thankfully, the entirety of the broadcast audio has been recovered by today's time, here in the 2020s. Thank God for that. Even before that, like in 2015 or so till now, all of Dragon Ball broadcast audios were surfacing on the internet from Japan, from the Japanese dub. Thank God for that. I don't know about you, but I can personally watch all of Dragon Ball now from start to finish in Japanese with good quality audio as a true first viewing, the way it's supposed to be. And get this, fans have reached out to Funimation back in 2016 or so to include the recovered broadcast audio on the future releases. However, their pleas did fall to deaf ears, as no such release exists yet, including the 30th anniversary Blu-ray release of the show. I think now may be a good time to touch on these a bit, considering that they're technically the most recent release of Dragon Ball Z that we have had in the States. Now, I'm sure that some of you at the moment might be wondering, Danny, what about the Dragon Ball Z Blu-ray steelbooks? You made a video about those saying that they aren't terrible. Well, about that video. I say get these. If you don't own Dragon Ball Z yet, I say get these. If you don't own Dragon Ball Z in 4x3, like the original show, I'm not talking about Kai, Dragon Ball, or GT, or Super, we're talking about Dragon Ball Z, the original. Get these, because they are watchable, the footage is not that bad, you know, it does, here, again, I think it looks a little funky at times, but other times I think it looks really nice. I say this is like, at the most, B-level quality for Dragon Ball Z. Like, if we're doing, like, ranks, like, S, A, B, C, D, E tiers, this is, like, B-level. Maybe, like, B+ at the most. Because this is, like, the version that you can watch with your family. And the Dragon Box is the version that's just for you. For this. Like, there's fans out there who are really hell-bent about this kind of shit. It's kind of ridiculous. It's like, shut up. Like, you know, like, this is still a pretty decent version to own, I would say. Now, I didn't grow up with Dragon Ball Z. But I do know how the show is supposed to look. And I really wish that they did release a show how it's supposed to look, but this is the best we're going to have for now, and I'm okay with that. If they release a even better version of the show, would I be getting into selling these? That's tough to say. I didn't get the 30th anniversary edition, so I want to keep these. You know, they're nice. I just bought season 2. I'm a fan of these right now. I want to own at least the first 3 seasons, and then go down the line from there, because I like what they made. Oh, jeez. Oh, God. I'm so embarrassed by this now. I am also so sorry for telling the passionate fans who knew what they were talking about and did their research to quote-unquote shut up in that video. I have learned and grown a lot since then and pretty much have the same knowledge that all of you out there do, all the passionate fans who know what they're talking about. Thanks to Tony StrongStyle's dropping the ball video, my eyes opened up a lot and I've slowly set off ever since. However, before I saw his video, much like my younger self when I first watched the show on the Orangeburg season sets, regretfully and admittedly, I did not know any better at the time. But I do believe that at the time, a part of me did subconsciously know that the 30th anniversary edition could have been better. Now, to some of you out there, this may quote-unquote look good at a first glance viewing. It's in 4x3 and the grain is there, except not really. Now, I pointed these issues out earlier in this video, but here you can see the comparisons between the original footage to the 30th anniversary Blu-ray set. Funimation and now I guess Toei Animation have seemed to just take what they slapped together for these 16:9 Blu-ray release sets, reproduce it and zoomed in 4x3 and retroactively added in a film grained filter, which means that no, this is not the proper way that the show is formatted, and it's also not the actual grain from the footage. I don't think that I have to explain this, but when it comes to preserving footage from before the digital age in media, meaning anything pre-2005 or so, film grain is incredibly important. It keeps the footage intact, and it comes off as more authentic. There's a reason why big blockbuster budgeted films still use it today. It can be removed if remastered properly, but that's obviously not what happened here with Dragon Ball Z. Heck, even the level Blu-ray sets kept the film grain in. You see that, Funimation? You had a good thing going here, and you screwed it all up. Whatever happened to Steve? Where is Steve? We like Steve. We want Steve. Alright, I digress. Well, wait a moment. No, I don't. I haven't covered the problems with the colors yet. See, I was alluding to this earlier in the video, or pointing it out a bit, but the color grading of the Dragon Boxes is clearly far from perfect. Yes, the visuals are not 100% pretty here, and the colors obviously do look a bit faded out as well. But again, keeping in mind what I said earlier in this video, just because it's not perfect does not mean that it is bad. It's not, and remember, these were being worked on as far back as the late 90s to early 2000s. In all honesty, I have no idea when Toei Animation and Pony Canyon got to work on the Dragon Box DVD sets, but I do know that it must have been sometime around then, because the series was released in 2003 in Japan. So, as far as early DVD releases go, for a show as huge as Dragon Ball Z, to all of Dragon Ball, mind you, yeah, perfect or not, this is not all too bad. However, with today's time and technology, there is absolutely no excuse. After everything I have covered today, I think you know what I'm going to say next. Feel free to say it with me, everyone. You ready for this? Dragon Ball Z deserves better. No question. They absolutely screwed everything up with the color grading, if you can honestly even call it that, here in the 30th anniversary version. The colors do look nice and pretty here for the most part, maybe, but the show also looks like a Flash cartoon now. And not only that, the backgrounds also have this watercolor look to them. Now, I'm sure that some of you out there may actually like this look, but to me, I'm sorry, that hardly matters. Because as a matter of fact, to the average person who likes the look of the 30th anniversary set, the orange bricks, or the Blu-ray season sets, just remember one very important matter of fact that I have been showing this entire time now. This is not the way Dragon Ball Z is supposed to look like. At all. Don't believe the bullcrap that Funimation is sitting with, oh, how it's supposed to look in 16:9 with all these fancy colors. This is the way the show was always supposed to look. Who in the world said that? Who in the world ever said that while the show is being produced in the 90s or early 2000s? Who? Whoever said Dragon Ball Z was intended to be in 16:9 and cropped? Nobody. Nobody ever said that before these Orange Brick remasters came out. Nobody. Funimation seems to act like Toei actually wanted this, or God forbid, Akira Toriyama himself. Just no, that's complete bullshit. I have no idea who coined that at Funimation, but it's just absolutely frustrating to know that there are a few asshats out there who now work for both Toei and Funny who actually legitimately believe that Dragon Ball Z is supposed to be cropped to 16:9 aspect ratio this entire time. How ridiculous. I'll take the faded colors version, please, with proper aspect ratio and film grain intact that's from the actual source material, than this crap any day of the week. And I don't want you guys to get the wrong idea. It's not like I hate 16:9 aspect ratio. That's not what I'm saying. No, that would be ridiculous. I'm saying I like the aspect ratio that was intended for the story, for the footage, for the thing that you're seeing, like in your face. Like, that's what I mean. I hate it when you crop something. That's what I mean. And thankfully, because of the Dragon Ball Z Orange Bricks, I learned a lot about this kind of stuff. I learned a lot about aspect ratio. I learned a lot about correct colors. I learned a lot about all of this. So that is one positive thing from a trash product. And if it wasn't for it being a trash product, I wouldn't have learned what I've learned.
Gee, the lack of humility before nature that's being displayed here staggers me.
Well, thank you, Dr. Malcolm, but I think things are a little bit different than you and I had feared.
Yeah, I know. They're a lot worse.
Now, wait a second. Now, we haven't even seen the part where you feel...
Don't let him talk. There's no reason. No, I want to hear every viewpoint. I really do.
Yeah, don't you see the danger, John, inherent in what you're doing here? Genetic power is the most awesome force the planet's ever seen, but you wield it like a kid that's found his dad's gun.
It's hardly appropriate to start hurling generalizations.
If I may. I'll tell you the problem with the scientific power that you're using here. It didn't require any discipline to attain it. You know, you read what others had done, and you took the next step. You didn't earn the knowledge for yourselves, so you don't take any responsibility for it. You stood on the shoulders of geniuses to accomplish something as fast as you could, and before you even knew what you had, you patented it and packaged it and slapped it on a plastic lunchbox, and now you're selling it. You want to sell it. Well,
Our scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before.
Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could that they didn't stop to think if they should.
Honestly, Funimation, what in the world were you thinking with this release? This is so dishonorable to do to Dragon Ball Z, one of the most popular, beloved, famous, and iconic TV shows of all time, for its 30th anniversary. You should absolutely feel both ashamed and embarrassed with this release, alongside with Toei Animation. That may sound kinda harsh, I completely understand. If you own this box set, I don't want to take away your enjoyment from it. If you're a proud fan, go ahead. You know, it's not super terrible technically, but just for the fact that you've been lied to like that, that's wrong, guys. That's not right. Now, as I have sort of touched on earlier in this video, a few minutes or so back, when it comes to any kind of piece of media, for you personally, if you enjoy it, then enjoy it. The facts that I have covered earlier, it doesn't really entirely matter when it comes to your personal enjoyment. Whether it be the orange bricks, the Dragon boxes, the Blu-rays, the whatever it is, and for any movie, TV show, whatever it is, how you enjoy it, man. yes, the facts are important, but when it comes to you enjoying something, facts or not, doesn't really matter. As long as you personally enjoy it, enjoy it. You don't have to listen to a word I say. It's absolutely okay. Right? Right. However, for those of you who are bothered by all of the atrocities that I have mentioned earlier in this video, from Toei Animation and Funimation, and all the terrible stuff they've done to Dragon Ball Z, boy, do I ever have a solution for you. There is hope to be had, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am glad to say that there is. Now, we can finally touch on it, folks. The absolute best way to own all of Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT at home for your own personal viewing pleasure. Here we go. Things may not look the best for old school Dragon Ball from the parent companies, but at least the fan base has risen up to create the best possible version of DBZ that they ever possibly could. Enter Seed of Might, a group of dedicated Dragon Ball fans to give the entire fan base exactly what we all deserve. Honest to goodness competent Dragon Ball releases. Well, sort of, but for the most part they absolutely are. They can't technically produce anything physically or for profit, which is 100% and 10 okay and understandable. The amount of work that they have for all of old Dragon Ball TV so far is absolutely incredible. Most of the good examples of Dragon Ball footage that I have used in this video so far have come from their releases. However, you, my friends, are going to need a hefty amount of hard drive space. Depending on which version you choose to download that they have uploaded, it can be a lot of storage. Remember at the beginning of the video when I said that all of Dragon Ball Z is sort of free on the internet? This is that sort of part that I was referring to. First of all, make sure that your modern day 4K smart TV has a USB port in the back of it. If it does, you're good to go for the rest of this process. Next, if you don't already have one, I highly recommend purchasing a 4 to 5 terabyte external hard drive for this sort of process. Really though, a 2 to 3 terabyte hard drive should be fine as long as you have over 2 terabytes to be safe for all of the Seed of Might releases, but it wouldn't hurt to have the extra drive space. Really though, it's ultimately up to you. After you have the files in said hard drive, just go ahead and plug it into your smart TV and then BAM! There it is, all of Dragon Ball for your enjoyment, thanks to good old Seed of Might. Most recently, within the past year or two, Seed of Might has come up with a color-corrected version of Dragon Ball GT, and they also white balanced the first 17 original Dragon Ball films, yes, including the 13 Dragon Ball Z films. At the time of this video process/upload, they are currently working on color correcting all of Dragon Ball Z. I'm sure it'll be done sometime around fall or summer of 2025. And just, wow, look at this footage. It's absolutely incredible. Just 110%. It almost looks 4K or something. I mean, I'm going to try to produce the video into 4K, so the video is. But, technically, I don't know. It's just really damn good looking. That much I can tell you. Thank Kami that I discovered these guys. Sometime in the first quarter of 2021 was when I discovered Tony StrongStyle's Dropping the Ball video. Not too long after that, I did come across the Seed of Might Dragon Ball Z file. And just look at all the work they put into this so far. They tried to fit every dub that they possibly could onto this thing, including a unique edited version of the original Ocean dub. Damn, now that's dedication. They even included both the mono-quality optical sound audio for the Japanese dub and the recovered broadcast audio. It's almost as if Seed of Might did Toei Animation and Funimation's jobs for them, but took it onto a whole different level. And rightfully so too, in my opinion. There's no doubt about it, this release is incredibly badass. And this is just their original quote-unquote finalized Dragon Ball Z release. They also used a mix of the Japanese Dragon Box release footage of Z and the North American footage of it as well. The reason why they did this was to help fix issues of the footage from both of the original releases. Both versions are dubbed as R1 and RJ2 for the footage being combined together. Now that is also dedication. Damn! I've always thought that their release looks better than the Dragon Boxes I own, and now I officially know why. That's insane. Their Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT releases are nothing short of amazing as well. I already mentioned that they have successfully color-corrected both shows plus the movies, but they've also added as many dubs as they possibly could have for them as well. So yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is it, right here on the internet. The absolute true best way to experience all of Dragon Ball. Debatably the most definitive. And thanks to the powers of Handbrake, MKV Toolnix, and DVD Styler, I was able to successfully make my own physical home release of the show from Seed of Might as a source. Yes folks, what I was showing off at the beginning of the video, my very own special cut in quotation marks of all of Dragon Ball to Z to GT. It took me forever to make all of this, about over a good year or so, which may not sound like a lot, but it literally took that long. And I'm so happy that I made these and that they're now finished. Everything is here for the most part, with unfortunately the exception of the original Ocean dub and the mono quality sounding optical audio for the Japanese dub, but I don't think you guys are really interested in those too much anyways. You can download the Ocean dub online as well if you really want it, but these DVDs do have the Japanese broadcast audio. It's track 1 for each episode on every single disc and volume. And if you guys don't want the DVDs and just want to download the MKV files, the whole entire show is a little under 200 gigabytes. That's all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, mind you. Now, keep in mind that I made this set and finalized it long before I discovered Seed of Might's color correction process, so I apologize for that. However, these do have the R1 and RJ2 footage combination for the Dragon boxes, so that is something special about them. And I also created my own unique audio track for certain episodes of the show that mixes various songs together that are all DBZ appropriate. And I did this process only for Dragon Ball Z. It was really hard to do, but I'm so happy that it paid off. Some of the episodes even have Android Orchestra's music in them. If you aren't familiar with their work, they have a channel on YouTube. They do orchestrated remixes of Dragon Ball Z music. I also finalized this project before I discovered Gladius, unfortunately. They're also a dedicated Dragon Ball fan that does Dragon Ball orchestrated remixes. I'm really sorry about that, Gladius. I love your work. It's some epic stuff. His music is not represented here, but I think I may have put at least a song or two of his on one of the DVD menus from Volume 7. It's possible. I don't remember quite, though. I might have. Each episode that has an exclamation point next to it from the MKV files has a special change to it. Just switch it over to audio track 2 and you should be good from there. And if by chance you don't like any of these changes that I did to the audio, everything audio-wise that has been released before on an uncut Dragon Ball Z release of some kind in North America is still here. All of the original in-house Funimation dub stuff post-episode 68 of DBZ onward are on these DVDs, including the original Toonami dub, the remastered Toonami dub, and the uncut dub with the Japanese Shinsuke Kikuchi score. There are also missing vocal songs that played in the original sub of the show that Funny removed when watching the dub with the Kikuchi score on the remastered DVD sets, including the Dragon boxes. Well, fear not, dear viewer, because the folks over at Seed of Might have recovered these said tracks, and yes, they're in there while watching it with the versions I produced as well onto DVD. Now, I'm sure a lot of you watching this may be overjoyed with excitement, which is great, but I'm also certain that some to a lot of you are probably concerned with a few questions. Is this project/process legal? Does this count as boycotting the show? And does this constitute as piracy? Well, I'm not going to say yes to those answers, but it's also a bit complicated overall to answer. However, you and I and Seed of Might should be safe for the most part to enjoy this. Why, you may wonder? Well, for one, Seed of Might is incredibly public about the work they are creating. They have both a YouTube and Twitter account to discuss and showcase their work, along with a Discord server that you can join to chat with them on. Not only that, neither they nor I are making a dime off these releases. No, I am not selling these DVD release box sets online, and I'm not going to. Legally speaking, I don't think I can. No, you know what? In fact, I know I can't. But I have all of the files uploaded onto my archive.org account, which will be in the video description below. Everything together is roughly around a terabyte big to download. Yes, the entire thing, including the DVD discs. I also have to upload the files for DBZ Disc 9 separately because for whatever reason, it would just not upload to the page. I am incredibly sorry about this. I have tried multiple times to get it to upload to the entire, file here and still nothing. And as for reason 2, if you really want to go down the legal rabbit hole here with all this, Toei Animation or Funimation, let's not forget all of the false marketing that you have deployed with Dragon Ball Z alone already. Admittedly, this seems to be 100% Funimation's fault. And yes, let's not forget, folks, if you know the law, false advertising is illegal in the United States of America, and those sleazy trailers do constitute under false advertising. Yeah, I rest my case on that one. And just a quick side note on that topic, I have no idea how Funimation have not been legally reprimanded for this yet, or have been held accountable for these illegal ads. We really need to get on that, don't we? We seriously need to get on that. We cannot risk another botched release of Dragon Ball Z to happen again. So with that being said, we really should go after Funimation for what they've done already. I know it's been years, but that doesn't excuse them possibly doing this again. So, let's not take that chance while we still can. If you guys want to make your own physical sets at home, you're going to have to download the files yourselves and purchase burnable DVDs, alongside 7 6-disc cases for Dragon Ball, 7 8-disc cases for Dragon Ball Z, and 1 10-disc case for Dragon Ball GT. That, my friends, is a total of 108 discs. Have fun, everybody. Honestly though, try not to stress too much about it. The burning process is not all too bad, and if you do everything correctly, you should have everything done in about a week or so. I might make a tutorial video on how to do everything in a future video, but if you personally already have any sort of simple knowledge on how to burn CD-ROMs or DVD-ROM discs, alongside making your own custom case art and plastering on custom disc art and everything, you should be good to go here. It's really not that hard to figure out for your own. Each DVD also has a unique look to it cosmetically and on the actual disc itself. I don't use the same DVD menu artwork or music more than once for the most part, so everything here is unique for what it is. I can also provide links in the description below of where to purchase what. You're going to mostly need 8.5GB DVD discs for everything. There are a few listings on Amazon for them already, and just in case if any of these links go dead in the future, or the listings have been removed from eBay or something, that's beyond my control. I'm sorry, but get these items now while you can and everything, but again, if by the chance you can't, it's out of my hands. People have asked me for substitutes in the past for where to purchase physical items, and if something runs out, there isn't much that I can do. So if you want to make these yourselves, then I wish you all the luck in the world on that. Alright everyone, that's about everything in this video. I'm so happy that you guys stuck around and watched everything and heard everything I had to say. If you're new to the franchise, I'm sorry if this is all very confusing and a lot for you to understand maybe or whatever, but best of luck. I hope you get into Dragon Ball Z the right kind of way. That's a big part of why I did this too. If you have at least 200GB of storage, you should be good to download my version. That's all. That's it. It's all there for you. So Dragon Ball Z alone, I think is just about 100, maybe less. So you should be okay there if you want to start with that show. So I think it's important to touch on something else in this video. Some of you out there at home watching, or wherever you're at, might be wondering why in the world did I go this far? Why was it not enough for me to make a compressed size version to download? Why did I make a physical home DVD release with cases and everything? Why did I do all that? And that's a very good question. And I guess my answer is it's coming from a place of not only care for the fan base, because it definitely is, but also because I'm so tired of this. I am tired of constantly getting screwed over. I said it before in this video, my first viewing of Dragon Ball Z from start to finish ever was the Orange Brick season sets. That's very depressing and sad. I had no idea at the time, while I was watching the entire show, that it was terrible quality. I wasn't really paying attention to that. I was just enjoying what I was seeing. And a lot of people who watch the show that way have the exact same mindset. They also weren't paying attention to it and were just enjoying it. But sadly, there's a lot of fans that prefer that version, even with all the knowledge of all of this. And some of you are there watching this video. You prefer that. And like I said earlier, there's nothing wrong with enjoying that, but in preferring it possibly, but like don't fight on the facts that is not the proper way for the footage to look. You can watch it that way, you can enjoy it that way. That's sad, but okay. But that's not the way Dragon Ball Z is supposed to look. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? It's not an opinion, folks. That's not an opinion. I have covered it this entirety. There's multiple YouTubers, more than 10 people, more than 20 people probably on YouTube that made a video, a big video like this, talking about that. This is not opinionated. This is factual, that the footage is screwed with. That is a problem. It'd be like saying, I prefer, like, the sky to be green, when in fact it's blue. Or something. I don't know. The sky can be green, I guess, at certain times with... Well, no. I don't know what to say, what that's like. I don't know what else to compare it to, because it's such a unique, mind-boggling situation. But yeah, that's a big part of it, is that I am tired of being screwed over by Toei Animation, Funimation specifically, being lied to, and everything. I did buy the steelbooks. I bought all 9 of them. And I sold them off at my old job. I sold off the orange bricks years ago. Years ago, I did. And I've had the Dragon boxes since 2013, for about 11 years now. Maybe 20... I think so. I think it was 2013, maybe 14, 15. I think I bought my last set. I think I picked them up around 2012 and 2013. Right after I graduated from high school, 2013. I think I bought them then. I started collecting them shortly after they went on print. And they were pretty priced at the time, but some are cheaper than others, and now we're here. I have all 7 of them, and I couldn't be happier. But obviously they're not perfect, and as I said in the beginning of the video, I don't want to destroy them over time or anything. They're rare, so I'd rather just watch them this way. Now, or watch Dragon Ball Z the way that I created, basically. Now, there is one last thing I'm going to say. And it's controversial, but I'm not wrong. Well, okay, whatever. It's an opinion. This is an opinion, yes, but since me and a lot of fans obviously cannot trust Funimation anymore to make Dragon Ball Z, and Toei Animation 2 debatably, it should be public domain. The original classic Dragon Ball, the TV run, from 1987 to 1997 or 8 when GT ended, or I think it was 86 maybe, should be public domain. The original television series, Dragon Ball Z to GT. The movies, I don't know about the movies. The movies are fine. Actually, honestly, the Funimation releases of the movies are all right for the most part. They're kind of like Blue Brick Dragon Ball level decency, along with it's just Z they like fucked up. Everything else is not that bad really. Dragon Ball GT, the movies are not. I already covered in the video. Yes, they have their issues. The DVD releases have their issues, but they're still fine and watchable. They're not like terrible. They're watchable. They're like from okay to good. It's like this is all right. Same thing with the original Funimation DVD singles. Those are very watchable too. They're not the greatest. They don't look that pretty in a 4K TV, but they're all right to watch. They are watchable as well. And same thing, the Dragon boxes, yes, the quality is good, but they're not perfect either. Okay, so yes, it should be. I think the original television franchise should be public domain. I'm okay with Toei Animation, Funimation doing whatever they want to past Dragon Ball Z Kai, or Dragon Ball Kai. Dragon Ball Kai anime, post that, pass to Super, to Daima, to whatever now, fine. But what's also incredibly depressing and sad to think about is that Dragon Ball Z Kai, from Funimation's side at least, got a lot more love and respect than the original Dragon Ball Z did. That's very sad. That is incredibly sad. Wow. Wow. That's... Wow. Yeah, I can't believe that either. I can't. I'm just so happy that Yu Yu Hakusho gets all the love it deserves from Funimation. That's incredible too. But damn, poor Dragon Ball Z. Poor Dragon Ball Z. It's like, I kind of feel like Funimation's secretly ashamed of it. Like, the people who are responsible for these releases, they were like, oh, we're excited we get to redub it with Dragon Ball Z Kai. Like, that's awesome, but you still shouldn't, like, crap on the original. That's not an excuse. It doesn't matter if you might be ashamed of the original dub. I don't care. People love it. They grew up on it. This is not just people's childhoods that you're destroying. It's or nostalgic or memories. You're also destroying, again, one of the most important cartoons of all time. Like, there's no reason to do that. Absolutely zero reason to do that. It's baffling. It really is. Now, back in 2018 or so, there's one. I know I'm covering a lot at the end of the video here. Back in 2018 or so, Toei Animation is rumored to be recreating a frame-by-frame 4K remaster of all of the original televised Dragon Ball series, the Z to GT till the end, to the end. They already did this with the movies, and it's on Netflix Japan, but there's censorship. The movies have been censored, so they censored the movies. They did. So here's a picture of that. Yes. So I'm worried. Like, are they going to censor the anime now? They probably will, and no. So again, we can't trust them. Cedar Might can't either, and I can't fully blame them. Obviously, yes, that's another part why I did this. It's because Cedar Might showed me that, yeah, like there's better, and we will make better, and they did make better. It's also incredibly depressing to recently find out that since the Dragon Boxes were a limited release in Japan and you can only get them through a special mail-in order, that our friends over in the Land of the Rising Sun had to order Dragon Ball Z from here, from North America, to be shipped to their state, to their country. And I'm assuming at the time they bought the Orange Break season sets. That's really messed up and sad. I have no idea how home releases are released for Dragon Ball down in Mexico. I hope it's a lot better than it is here, because that is like the prime country for Dragon Ball. Mexico loves the franchise to death, more than America does, and even debatably more than Japan does, which is insane to think about, but it's true. It's very true. It's more iconic there than it is in Japan, possibly. So, with that being said, I do still believe in something competent coming out one day, even if we just had, the English dub with the Japanese music, and the Toonami music with the remastered dub, and then just the mono quality Japanese sub again, which would be sad. Hopefully it's the broadcast audio this time. If there's just 3 audio tracks on a 4K Blu-ray disc, which is a simple transfer from the Dragon Boxes, with barely any censorship. If there's censorship, that would be sad, but if we had those other things in there, okay. And as long as Funimation didn't like screw with it too much or whatever, then maybe. But I do have hope, but like, it's hard to, guys. It's really hard to. So with that being said, just have faith in the fan base. Have hope in us. Have hope in me. Have hope in Cedar Might. Have hope in IKS. Have hope in whoever the heck is working on truly genuine remasters treated with absolute love and care of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, and the Dragon Ball films. The original ones. I'm the Y2K reviewer, guys. Arigatou gozaimasu and sayonara. Thank you again for watching my video, and have a good one. Goodbye. And thank you, Dragon Ball. Thank you, Dragon Ball, for everything you've taught me. Thank you, Goku, for everything you've taught me. Thank you, Gohan, for everything you've taught me. Thank you, Vegeta and Piccolo and Krillin, for everything you've taught me. And, yeah. And thank you, Master Roshi, as well, for everything you've taught me. And Korin and Kami, thank you to every character from Dragon Ball for what they've taught me. And thank you, of course, to the legendary and unforgotten Akira Toriyama. May your soul rest in peace. Have a good one, guys, and take care. Man, oh man. Whew, 1 hour long. Dang. I thought it was going to be a bit shorter than that. I didn't think it was going to go on for this long. I thought it'd be like 40 minutes or something. Damn, oh damn, oh damn. Well, I hope you all out there watching like the video. And if you couldn't tell, I really am a true-hearted, loving Dragon Ball fan. I love the whole thing. I only read the original manga once through, and yes, it was the Viz Media version. And I do want to touch on that a little bit because I didn't get a chance to really touch on it in this video. Unfortunately, most of the official manga releases aren't very perfect either. But that's not as much as a big issue, I would say, as, the actual anime footage stuff. That's way more problematic in my opinion, considering that has happened on one too many occasions. And I don't know, but I think the manga, there might be an official version being worked on now that's truly translated, but I know that Cedar Might is also working on that too, which is great. And so thank you for that, guys. And I'm gonna show a graphic of that here, that they need translators. So if you guys can translate, the original manga, that'd be perfect. If you could reach out to them on the Discord, they're looking for all the help they need, or just on the Twitter account or whatever, that'd be awesome. And also really quickly want to mention the AB Group French release of the Dragon Ball Blu-ray. I think it's the first 68 or 69 episodes or 70 or so of the original Dragon Ball. Got released in France a year or two back, and the footage is really pretty on that release. It's like really clean, really good. It's practically seat of mic quality, but not quite. However, they did use their footage. The AB Group in France did use Seed of Might's footage on I think in like the special features or something, but or at least the translations, they use something that they officially produce. And I remember hearing that from a live stream from one of the representatives when he was talking with Kingdom 101 about it, and he said he felt incredibly like happy. He felt like great, that he felt like he made it, and I'm assuming he felt honored. I don't know, he didn't say those exact words, but I'm assuming he did. He felt really like proud about that. So that's what I want to see. I want to see Funimation, Toei Animation, or at least Funimation taking Seed of Might's work and just re-releasing it, like whether they tell them or not. Like, I hope they don't get shut down. I hope this video does not cause that to happen. And if it does, Seed of Might, I am so sorry. I did not intend for that to happen. But again, you guys don't seem to be worried. I personally reached out to them and asked them if they were worried about Toei Animation coming after them, and they said no, they weren't worried at all. So, and looking at Team Farstar and their history and how they're still around, I'm just saying, like, we're not Dragon Ball fans, we're not invincible from this stuff, but like that, I'm so happy I pointed out the false advertising, the false advertising thing in this video, because it's kind of like I gotta fight fire with fire, like we all should. Like, if Funimation comes after us, or Toei Animation, whoever the hell, all we gotta do is point out their wrongdoings too, and maybe, I don't know, but let's just hope that that doesn't come to that, because we're just fans that love the franchise. It doesn't mean that we don't want to support it. It's not like that. It's just we just want better, competent releases, right? That's all it comes down to. That's what this video was about. And just in case if this video does get shut down, or if it does get attacked by Toei Animation or DMC'd or anything like that, or Funimation goes after me, Goku's got something to say about that right here.
Stronger than I imagined.
Me boo! Kill you!
Is that so? Well, you wouldn't be the first, and there's always that chance. But what I represent can never be destroyed, Majin Buu.
Yeah, you tell him, Goku. You tell him, Sean Schimmel, Toei Animation Goku, the English voice dub. Yeah, basically imagine Majin Buu as like who represents like the parent companies taking these kinds of videos down or attacking them. And what Goku says is true. Like, what we represent will never be destroyed. Like me and the other fans, like the ones that really care about Dragon Ball Z, the ones that really care about the anime. And I also quickly just want to mention that, and I made this long hour-and-a-half Dragon Ball Z video besides this one on my channel. Another one, just a few months ago this year, I made like a handful of really very important Ask Dragon Ball videos this year. One about Toriyama's passing. I made a tribute about him, and I made one about like how I got into the franchise. And I'm pretty sure in that video I mentioned how important, or how Dragon Ball, and specifically Goku himself as a character, changed my life. I try to base my whole personality. I kind of like became a new person after I watched Dragon Ball, because Goku really became a part of who I am, and like just the way how he is. And same thing with Gohan, which I know that may sound really silly, but it's the truth. And I feel like, I know a few other fans out there have also probably experienced something very similar to that, because they're just such like impactful characters. And I know it may sound dumb and silly to those who haven't watched the show or read the manga, but trust me, these characters, man, at least for Goku himself, like his philosophy of life is definitely one to follow by and practice and go under, and that's why he's such an important character. And some people out there generally believe he might be the most important / iconic character of all time in fictional history, and I kind of agree with that. If not him, next to what inspired him, the Monkey King, Sun Wukong, or Luke Skywalker. But Goku and Luke don't really have the same kind of personalities, but they do follow the same philosophies of life, or at least similar ones, like life of peace, basically. But Goku is not the same as Luke. He's not the same as Superman. And some things out there say, he's one of the most misunderstood characters of all time too, which I agree with that. Yes, even someone like me, at times, it took me a long time to fully understand this character. I might by now, but I don't know if I'm still quite there yet. It's really hard for me to personally say, but I still think he's a wonderful character. He's unique for who he is. I think Akira Toriyama, he created some of the best characters of all time. Not just Goku. I mean, you can't mention Piccolo. You can't mention, Krillin or Tien or Vegeta. Vegeta, of course. I mean, Vegeta is like a fan favorite. Everybody loves him. He's one of the most important characters in all of Dragon Ball. Absolutely. All the way up to GT. Absolutely. He's pretty important in Super as well. I'm not going to deny that. And I'm pretty sure he's going to be incredibly important in Daima as well. I'll just give it time. And about Dragon Ball Daima, I was very against it when it first got announced. I was not happy about it. I made a video about that too. And then I made another video shortly after he passed away apologizing about how my initial reaction was, because it's like Toriyama's gone now, so it's like I should respect his last work. And I even said in my initial reaction video when it got announced that I might end up really liking it and everything. I'm going to support it and give it all the love it should have, but that still doesn't mean I'm happy with the idea of it. So, but now I absolutely love it, especially since they put Akira Toriyama's name in the actual song. Is wow, that brings a tear to my eye. It does for sure, it does. And to Jaka-Jan, the opening to Dragon Ball Daima, and that's a really great song too. I never skip the opening. It's like I get emotional each time I hear it, each time I watch the show, with every new episode coming out weekly right now. At the time of this recording, we're currently on episode 9. It's December 10th, I think, at the moment. Yeah, it's December 10th. This video is probably going to be uploaded in the new year, or at least around that time. So I hope you all had a Merry Christmas, a great Hanukkah, or whatever holiday you celebrate. I just hope you had a great holidays in general, Thanksgiving and everything, and Halloween and whatnot, and a great Happy New Year. And yeah, I really hope so. I really hope that this year is going to be a lot less scarier than some of us might believe it'll be. I really hope that things get better, economically, and with the actual real world and everything. But I don't know. Well, time will tell on that. And for now, you got Dragon Ball. Go out and enjoy it. It's definitely the most influential story ever, in my opinion. It's influenced so much all over the world. It's like one of the most biggest cultural impactful franchises, if not the biggest cultural impactful franchise of all time. Meaning that like wherever like country or region it's in, it's huge. It's huge everywhere it's in. Like it's like I said, and I'm not exaggerating when I say like all of Mexico, the entire country of Mexico loves Dragon Ball. That might be a bit of a stereotype. That might be a bit of a stretch. I honestly don't know. I've never been to Mexico, but I met. I'll never forget it. At my old job at Retro Taku Video Games, I met this man. I forgot his name, but he was talking about how much he loves gaming, like retro gaming and whatnot. And this is a dude like in his 40s. Like he was a Mexican working man, father type kind of guy, and he definitely had like a dad bod to him and everything. And he was just a very endearing, sweet guy. And he was talking about how he loves retro gaming and everything, and how he loves gaming, and he likes anime too a little bit. And I mentioned Dragon Ball. I was like, "How do you feel about Dragon Ball?" And his face lit up, and he was so happy. And he was like, "Let me tell you, son." He was like, "There's not a single Mexican man that does not love Dragon Ball Z." He's like, "Everybody loves Dragon Ball Z from Mexico, everybody." And a few months shortly after that, I saw this other Mexican gentleman with his son who had on this hoodie on with manga panels from Dragon Ball Z and Super. It was so cool. I was like, that's a very cool hoodie. Holy shit. And the dialogue was in Spanish on his hoodie. So I was like, oh my god, that is so cool. Like, it was just cool. I don't know, yeah, and even a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine, who he's more of an internet friend, has told me that like even he's aware of it. He's part Mexican. He's like, I have not watched Dragon Ball yet or read it, but he is very aware of the cultural impact it has to Mexico. He knows he has like a few family members that's like really into it. Like his cousin had like a Dragon Ball Z birthday party and everything, and I'm like, yeah, like it's big, it's big. And most of the time when I see someone go all out for Dragon Ball, I want to say 9 times out of 10 it's usually someone who is Mexican. And what I mean by all out, like they're like houses decorated in Dragon Ball stuff, or they have like a Dragon Ball Z party with their family, or like their friends and everyone gets together. And again, it's something personal. One of my coworkers, her boyfriend, he is Mexican, he is Spanish, and he and his friends have Dragon Ball Z streaming parties. And I'm just like, it's like I said, guys, 9 times out of 10, they just love it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's a wonderful series. It's a wonderful series. It is. You need to check it out if you haven't. It's the most important anime ever, and I know a lot of other fans out there that love their favorite franchises will be mad about that. But please show your respect. You know, we lost one of the greatest legends of all time, Akira Toriyama. You know, he created a lot more than just Dragon Ball, guys. Like, it's not just about that. And just because Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball is the most important anime ever does not mean it's the best or anything. That's subjective. I'm not saying it's the best anime ever created or anything, but I mean, at the time, it absolutely was. And a lot of people, Japan will absolutely back this up 100%. And some people out there consider One Piece to be its spiritual successor, and even though it's not created by the same person, so you can't really say that. But you know, it's like the next Dragon Ball, kind of. And yeah, and it like immediately came out after Dragon Ball was finished, and now it's the most popular, biggest thing ever. It's not just the biggest anime manga series of all time; it's like the biggest franchise of all time. One Piece is, and if it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z, One Piece wouldn't be what it is. If it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z, Final Fantasy VII wouldn't be what it is. If it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z, modern Star Wars probably... Okay, well, that might be for the better. If it wasn't for Dragon Ball Z, we wouldn't have Yu Yu Hakusho turn out the way it did. We wouldn't have... besides, Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog wouldn't have all the awesome stuff in it. There'd be no Supersonic. There'd be no 7 Chaos Emeralds. There'd be no Hyperforms. There'd be no epic finale to Sonic Adventure 2 battle. I mean, who created Super Saiyans? Akira Toriyama did, and that alone is like the number one source of epicness to any story ever. Like, Goku going Super Saiyan for the first time is the most epicest, iconic piece of media of all time. It is. And now, like I said, I'm not trying to say it's the best franchise of all time or anything. I mean, but it's debatable that's bigger than Star Wars, and I don't mean just in America. I mean all over the fucking world. All over the world, like other cultures, other countries, other places outside of America. Dragon Ball is absolutely bigger than Star Wars in some places of the world. And that says a lot, guys. That says a lot. That says everything you might need to know. If you're new to the franchise, get into it, love it, enjoy it. I hope you do. I hope you do. Dragon Ball deserves all the love it could get, now more than ever. And let me know if you guys want me to make more Dragon Ball Z videos, because I personally kind of want to. Let me know if you want me to make more Dragon Ball videos. I have a couple of ideas, and I specifically want to create discussion piece videos for right now. Like, I have a few ideas. Let me know in the comments below. And with that being said, until we meet again, guys, thank you again so much for watching, and have a great one. Take care, and goodbye.
With the Earth finally at peace, Goku, the savior of the planet, takes his leave to await the day when he is needed once again.
Not quite!
Wait! Stop, I'm gonna fall over! Oh man, that's gonna leave a mark.
Well, hello there, kids.
What did you just say?
Are you Gigi? Yes, I am, but who are you? Wow,
the moon is really big tonight.
What are you?
You two showed up just in time.
That poison odor I smell, fish. My practice.
Hi, I'm Goku.
Who's Goku? Help me! Release it, Gohan! Release everything! Now die, Saiyan! He was always friendly and cheerful.
What's up?
Hey, Goku!
A true gentleman and a loving father.
Come here, buddy.
Oh, Daddy!
And now we end the story of the Dragon Balls, with the hope that the Earth will never again see the kind of darkness that brought it close to extinction so many times. But if that day comes, there is one who will step out of the shadows and fight in the name of all that is good and true.
Till we meet